While you were still learning how to spell your name, I was reacting to Cinema Snob reviews of old and new before it really caught on. Hello again. I've been doing a lot of relatively recent reaction videos to episodes of the Cinema Snob this year, more than I would have intended, but I can't help it. Brad's been putting out a lot of great reviews, and today, after Brad teased it in last week's review of the John Travolta Ultra Failure Gotti, he is apparently doing a video on Battlefield Earth, and when the review finally was made public, I haven't watched it yet, but when it was finally made public, the title was definitely not what I was expecting. This episode is called 10 Awesome Things About Battlefield Earth. So I am genuinely curious to see what awesome things Brad, aka the Snob, has found, and you never know. Allegedly, Quentin Tarantino really loved Battlefield Earth, although that might have just been him being nice to Travolta, and then Travolta taking it as absolute praise. I really don't know what to say. I'm really interested and kind of excited to see what the Cinema Snob has to say, so without further ado, let's jump into this fucker.
Whoa! We only discuss the rare bad movies on this show. Good thing we're talking about the 2000 film Battlefield Earth. No one on the internet has talked about that one. Just get into some backstory here, just in case you know next to nothing about this small independent production. Battlefield Earth is a science fiction film based on the 1982 novel by L. Ron Hubbard. What? Oh no! Don't watch that. Have I told you about the good word? The film takes place in the year 3000, 1,000 years after the planet was taken over by a race of aliens known as the Cyclos.
As it was.
At this point, man is endangered, and the only chance they have at taking back the planet is Johnny Good Boy Tyler. His original name was Dave Protagonist. Johnny is given more intelligence by the Cyclos in order to mine gold for security chief Turl, played by John Travolta, who wants to use the gold to buy his way back into his home planet and live in riches. The film was a critical and commercial failure, leading to the bankruptcy of Franchise Pictures and a lawsuit where investors claimed that the company overstated its budget by about 31%. Wait, maybe this has all been talked about before. Hell, at one point, I'm pretty sure the lead villain in this film tried killing me in space.
He did.
Is this review going to be different than any of the other ones on this trashterpiece? Of course not! Let's commence the jokes! Boy, I bet there's going to be a lot of subliminal messages in this film, considering it's based on a book by the founder of the Presbyterian Church. What? Oh man, is that a cheap title card? Sure, man is an endangered species, but hotness sure isn't, and neither is miniature golf. And no one said anything about the Lauderback man being endangered. Surely they have used every penny of this movie's budget. I mean, these effects, boy, not very convincing, am I right? I'm fairly certain that the Cycloplanet is also the oil ocean zone from Sonic 2. As for how the aliens look, I think that's their anus. Battlefield Earth reviews.
It's already pretty good.
Different. Well, I guess I could be positive about it, but that could get me kicked off of the internet. And since when do I give exposure to bad movies? As a Cinema Snob, it's important that I look down on critically trashed movies like Battlefield Earth, but then again, as a Cinema Snob, it's also in my DNA to be a non-conformist. That means I can be the cool kid in the room for disagreeing with my fellow movie critics.
Wow, that's horrible animation.
Therefore, I give you 10 awesome things about Battlefield Earth.
Let's get into it.
Now, obviously, there's some good things about the movie that are a given. Barry Pepper plays the role of hero completely straight and is trying very, very hard in sci-fi hero mode.
Our race is slowly dying and will soon be gone forever.
Kim Coates. I don't know if you know this, but Kim Coates, translated into Cyclo, literally means awesome.
Early days of Tig.
Somehow, Forrest Whitaker maintains a level of dignity in this costume and in his performance, even with lines like this.
I barely make any lousy credits in this job, and I've got 5 wives to support, sir.
He may have won an Oscar for Last King of Scotland, but they secretly wanted to give it to him for this. Now let's start the countdown at number 10. It's 1,000 years after an extinction event, but slang and bad jokes still exist.
They told me this planet was ugly, but this has got to be one of the ugliest crap holes in the entire universe.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Crap holes? Crap holes. I don't seem to recall that from the book, and oh, here it is. This is one of the ugliest crap holes I've ever seen, said the Cyclo ambassador.
The whole planet doesn't even know the gold exists. So those corporate crapheads won't even know we stole it.
I would say, just say the word shit, but somehow that would be just as silly if they called the planet a shithole. Or how about dusting off this century's old stand-up gem?
Our spy satellites recorded those images.
What is this species? The species is called dog. Dog. Obviously the superior race, having the man-animal chauffeured around. Yeah, well...
You took over this planet from humans who somewhat tried to fight you, and you know Earth's history because you show it to Johnny, but you still think that dogs ran the planet?
For some reason, they weren't as useful when it came to manual labor.
But apparently you tried getting the dogs to what? Build the houses? Well, maybe the Cyclos are just confused because the hero's middle name is literally Good Boy. Ha! Stupid aliens! It was cats that ran the planet. Not sure
I believe
who knows
that.
more about Earth, the caveman humans or the supposedly superior alien race.
Man, we're getting leverage over Cyclo. That'll be the day.
See, they know to quote old Buddy Holly songs and the Searchers. And while they may not know what fine dining is, or even the term fine dining,
You sure you can teach your men quiet?
Piece of cake! Piece of cake! Piece of cake!
somehow they know what cake is, and they keep saying it.
Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Piece of cake.
Maybe they heard the
At
expression
this point in the future,
over the
these
years.
humans probably go around humping hollowed-out logs, but they know what a good dessert is and what to serve on a birthday. Number 9. Well, it feels like a completed adaptation. The film version of Battlefield Earth only covers 436 pages of the 1,000-plus page book. Now, normally when this happens, what we're left with is what should be just a 2-hour movie, stretched into 2 films that are stuffed with padding that would normally be scenes left on the cutting room floor. This movie, however, you can watch it thinking that it was an entire adaptation of the book. It has a beginning, our hero comes in contact with the Cyclos. It has a middle, Johnny Goodboy Tyler learns about the alien technology and the history of Earth. And it ends with the Cyclo planet being destroyed, Earth's Cyclos being suffocated, and Turl left in his own Twilight Zone ending where he finally gets his gold, but he's caged with it and can't use it. By the conclusion, they have taken back the planet, as the tagline suggests. The plan was for a sequel to cover the second half of the book, but obviously the reception of the movie made a sequel not a very good investment deal. Who cares about that, though? Someone give John Travolta $100 million so he can finish his masterpiece. Number 8. If you think what's on video is great, you should have seen the theatrical version. The theatrical cut of the film contains scenes that were later deleted from the home video version, 'cause that saved it. We had a longer sequence in the Cyclo bar.
Leverage? A female getting leverage.
A longer scene of the humans avenging cows.
Get your men. Put those animals out of their misery. Go to it. Save what you can.
But the greatest deleted moment from the movie, a scene where Turl convinces the others that man-animals cannot indeed fly. Something that after 1,000 years it should be pretty obvious to them, but hey, it's an excuse to throw a guy off a cliff.
No! No! No!
The twist is that he can fly, but if he did, These scenes, though, can now be found on the Netflix version of the movie, because at this point, if you're watching Battlefield Earth, you're gonna want the theatrical experience. Number 7, convenient Dutch angles. Sure, the entire movie being shot on a tilt may seem like a recipe for neck pains, but if you find yourself getting very sleepy during the film, the camera angles make it convenient for you to lay your head down on the couch, thus perfectly lining up with the movie's pro nap time movie filter.
Production equals profits. And I've already ordered as many new workers as possible to boost production.
I may not know what's going on, but since the movie's tilted, these Dutch angles make it very convenient.
It's just stupid. You humans should be endangered. Number 6, the toys. Since this was intended to be a huge sci-fi summer blockbuster, you best believe that there was merchandising for the film. I personally remember seeing a wall of these toys on the shelves at Suncoast Video. Then a week after the movie came out, when reviews were written and its fate at the box office was set in stone, the entire wall was marked 75% off. So not only were there toys, but if you gave it a week, you got a pretty sweet deal on them. Plus, some of the figures talked, so you could hear all of your favorite lines.
He wouldn't last one day at the academy.
I'd like to see any other action figures say that.
Exterminate all land animals at will!
Again, I don't remember saying that.
Fan
Number
convention.
5, the alien bar. The Cyclos and the humans have one thing in common. Sometimes after a long week, you just gotta drink. And this future alien bar looks like someone made an S&M counterpart to the Star Wars cantina. Many things may not have
Ecto-cooler
survived,
cocktails?
but a hard Mountain Dew certainly has. And let me tell you, that will get you messed up.
I can assure you that I was not groomed since birth to have some cushy job.
Sir, if you could not walk off with the mellow yellow, your tab is overflowing. Oh, right, tabs still exist.
Put it on my tab.
You don't have the tab.
And I'm sure even the drink tab does as well. And it's the perfect place to meet sexy alien women played by Kelly Preston. This bar looks like when a Cenobite really wants to find a call girl. I want to see key scenes from Gotti with Travolta and Kelly Preston wearing these costumes instead. The super fan who saw Gotti 57 times is gonna love it. And here's one convenient thing for me. The movie has been interrupted by its own porno spoof. Number 4, stupid aliens. Yeah, the Cyclos are defeated at the end, and it's their own damn fault. These aliens are so dumb they could be their own hilarious 1930s comedy troupe. Turl is to remain on Earth as punishment for banging a Cyclo senator's daughter.
Please, tell the senator
It happens.
that if I had even an inkling that was his daughter. Watch your tongue.
I guess political scandals still exist. When he wants to learn more about the humans, he sets them free so he can find their favorite food, which he assumes is rat because it's what he catches them eating.
Do you want lunch?
I mean, it could be that it was the only food that they could find in this wasteland. My favorite meal is a filet mignon with a glass of clinker brick wine, but I highly doubt I would find that 1,000 years after the apocalypse. Sometimes the Cyclos understand the humans.
Surely someone as wise as you has ways to stop him from shooting. Damn right, rat brain. That's the first intelligent thing you've said yet.
And sometimes they don't, like when the humans are explaining their entire plan in front of them. Turl could send the humans out to simply mine the gold, but sure, let's teach them everything about human society and the Cyclos, including weapons, and teaching them to fly the ship, leaving them unsupervised to mine the gold, where they do what Goldfinger couldn't, which is conveniently rob or
this
not.
part.
Why is it in bars?
The cycle of your refinement wouldn't settle for anything as coarse as raw ore.
No question about how they turned it into bars. Seems legit. Hell, when their planet is destroyed by a dirty bomb that blows the entire planet up due to its own radiation, it's a marvel that this hasn't happened sooner. Then again...
Ow.
They seem to be okay with getting limbs shot off, So maybe that's how they conquered galaxies. This may all seem like a negative, but it's a very inspirational story because despite their low IQs, they took over an entire planet. Goals. Number 3, the costumes. Now, the makeup itself shows a lot about the Cyclo's race, including that their necks are filled with delicious turkey gravy. But these aliens had to learn sophisticated weaponry, bartending, and using computers with these giant rubber hands due to the Cyclo evolution of their ancestors frequently having sex with monster gloves from a Spirit Halloween. The book describes the aliens as much scarier with giant claws.
That would have been interesting. Look.
And freakishly creepy gas masks. By now, this is much better. It's like someone couldn't decide to dress up for a Rob Zombie concert or a Kiss concert, so they decided to go to a Romulan costume shop to assemble both. And I think he might be part cat. He's not. How dare you insult me? Number 2, well...
Never insult the Lloyd.
Are you not aware that I graduated top of my class? Quite an accomplishment. While you were still learning how to spell your name!
There
I
it is.
can quote this movie way more than I can many films that win Oscars, or any of the recent Star Wars movies.
I was being trained to conquer galaxies! You are pathetic. You wouldn't last one day at the Academy.
Alright, fine. You can say you hate Battlefield Earth all you want, but you remember its scenes, you remember its lines, and you remember its look. Battlefield Earth came out the same summer as movies like X-Men, The Perfect Storm, Gone in 60 Seconds, Mission Impossible 2. Hell, it opened within a week of Best Picture Oscar winner Gladiator.
Bad timing.
Remember more lines from this film. And that could be because of our number 1 awesome thing about Battlefield Earth, John Travolta. John Travolta. And John Travolta. When John Travolta is a good guy, he's amazing. And when he's a bad guy, given the opportunity to
fucking awesome.
dive into a pool of over-the-top gold star scenery chewing, he is just the best.
You're out of your mind. Ain't it cool?
You see him in a movie like Battlefield Earth, and you can hardly believe it's the same guy from classics such as Saturday Night Fever. A hardcore producer on the film, investing his own money into the project, the performance also shows that there is passion behind this movie. This performance is downright Shakespearean in its delivery. Travolta had worked hard to get this movie off the ground since 1983, when, had it been made, he would have played the part of the movie's hero, Johnny Goodboy Tyler. Later, he'd be too old for that role and decided to play Turl instead. But given that Travolta's clout in the early mid-80s wasn't as strong due to some box office disappointments, it made it very hard to get the project greenlit. After the comeback of all comebacks in 1994 with Pulp Fiction, Travolta used his regained A-list Hollywood status to finally get his dream project made. Say what you will about the results and the box office, but this man got his passion project done after decades of the idea being rejected. More goals! Here's normally the part where I talk about the negative reviews, but let's not do that. Sure, the movie sits at a 3 on Rotten Tomatoes, but instead, let's look at these 4 brave souls who said, to hell with the bandwagon, go see Battlefield Earth and don't be a rat brain. And what? Only 12% of audiences liked it? That 88% that didn't like it, I guarantee you 50% of them are lying. The movie also had a huge fan in George Lucas and Quentin Tarantino. The film was directed by Roger Christian, who won an art decoration Oscar for Star Wars, did second unit work on Return of the Jedi, plus check this out.
Stupid humans.
This movie has wipes. That means it's just like Star Wars. Also, when has George Lucas ever steered us wrong in the past? And same with Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino presents Hostel, you say? More like
helping out a buddy.
Tarantino presents The Second Coming of Gone with the Wind. And didn't anyone else notice this in the new Star Wars trailer? No one's ever really gone. we've been asking for years. These 10 things should
I should have done this at the beginning.
Battlefield Earth a shot, for if you do so, then you will be glad if Field Earth.
Oh my God!
What the hell? It could even be a friendly bartender!
That was a fun 10 list video. I should have done this at the beginning, but better late than never. And I had a feeling, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I did have a feeling that this might be a tongue-in-cheek awesome 10 list, and they're pretty much right. He's still looking at it as a so bad it's an enjoyable type movie, but it was a fun list nonetheless, because even though it is bad, there's a lot to enjoy, and my favorite parts of the review were, that I thought were the funniest, were when he talked about how apparently they still know about cake and all these things from before, like 1,000 years before, and some of the Lloyd bits were funny. He does the Lloyd voice a lot these days, and some episode that's a little hit or miss, but here I thought it was pretty enjoyable, and Laura's cameo was pretty funny, just sleeping on the side. And yeah, Kim Coates, before Sons of Anarchy. It's crazy where some actors start out, and yeah, the director of Battlefield Earth won an Oscar for the set designing on the original Star Wars. Fucking insane. And John Travolta, he does do some bad movies every once in a while, but you can tell he's giving it his best shot most of the time. But yeah, this was not what I was expecting when I heard that the Snob was going to do Battlefield Earth, and it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to show this review to Guy and see what he thinks, and like I've been doing with the other relatively recent Cinema Snob reactions, this reaction video will go up maybe a few weeks after the original video went up, and hope everybody watches it, gets the views in, and as always, I can't wait for the next Cinema Snob episode, and what can you say, but like this video, check out the others on this channel, maybe subscribe, and check out my main YouTube channel, named after my name, and see you later.